Outriders. Yeah, this one got demolished when it came out because of, well, how unfinished it was. Oh, rather, how many issues it had. But was it actually that bad, and how is it right now? And in this video, we're going to be discussing Outriders and deciding whether it is worth it to buy right now or whether you should just move on to other things. So yeah, without further ado, let's discuss an Outriders. And as always, as with every single one of our videos, I'm going to be giving you the answer right away to not waste your time and just, well, give you time to play the games or do whatever you want, spend time with your family, or I don't know, play anything or do anything that you want. So yeah, is Outriders worth it? And the answer is actually yes. It's actually a pretty good game. It's not a great game, and most likely it will not become a great game, but it's still a pretty good game to give you, well, for quite a few dozens of hours of enjoyment, and mainly if you enjoy the loot aspect of the games. Don't expect amazing story, don't expect amazingly varied gameplay, but yeah, you're gonna still have quite a lot of fun. Not for long though, but yeah, you can have a lot of fun. But now let's discuss the details. But before that, yeah, I'm gonna do a very cliche thing, and yeah, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because yep, only like little more than 1% of you is actually subscribed to the channel, and yep, subscribing to a channel is actually, well, it makes me happy. If you want to make me happy, hit the subscribe button. If you don't want to make me happy, yeah, you're watching this video anyways, you're making me happy, so thank you for that. Now, Outriders. So what even is it? So from every trailer, every video we've seen, that is a third-person looter shooter, but what it actually is. So in reality, this game is some kind of mix of Warframe, Gears of War, and Diablo. At least this is exactly what it felt like for me. Story-wise, it's happening in kind of like a near future. Earth is gone, the apocalypse happened, and a few ships have managed to escape Earth to this new planet called Enoch. And you are playing as an Outrider, and Outrider is basically a type of ranger. You land on a planet and you discover that something is wrong with this planet, and yeah, things happen, blah blah blah. No spoilers. You are sent into a crash sleep. You wake up 30 years later to see that world is screwed once again, and you have to uncover whatever the hell is happening, and now you have powers as well. That's basically a very short premise and short story. Let me take this straight away. The story is garbage. This story is insanely cliched, filled with the strong guy moments and like cool moments. I don't know what things that I don't know what things that people can fly have been watching, deciding to be very cool and things like that. But yeah, story is it's just not good. The premise of the story is amazing, and the promise of the story is pretty great, because this is not the thing that we have seen a lot, or rather we have seen, but it could be delivered in some amazing and cool way. But no, the presentation of this game is simply awful, especially the shaky cam. My god, now that I mentioned it to you, when you play the story game, you will not be able to not see the shaky cam. It's like the cameraman was taking the videos like that, and like, oh boy, I cannot stand on this one place, and it's awful. It's just bad. It was nauseating. After the half of the story, I was just skipping. I was pressing the skip as much as I can to not watch this awfulness, basically. So yeah, don't play this game for the story, even though story is literally like 70% of the game. But yep, that's what we got. After this initial beginning, after this initial, well, things happening, you're given a choice to choose from the base 4 classes, and each of the classes are pretty amazing and gives you a certain sets of skills and gives you a certain role. And these roles are basically giving you abilities to fight from different distances. You can fight from very far, you can fight for a medium distance, or you can be a straight up the melee devastator and kill everything on your side. Classes are pretty cool and pretty balanced and give you pretty amazing abilities. And this is where like kind of like a Warframe part of the game actually happens. And after that, the shooting part starts, and it's basically a Gears of War. Hordes of enemies are coming to you, you're killing the enemies, you're moving on to the next spot, more enemies are coming, and you're going to move on to the next one until you find the boss, fight the boss, kill the boss, move on to the next mission. It's pretty simple, yet it is actually pretty cool. And all this shines up with the loot, because my god, the loot in this game is amazing. You're getting your gear, your armor, your helmets, and all the shenanigans, etc, etc. And you have an ability to carry 3 weapons with you at the same time. 1 is a sidearm and 2 are the main weapons. And boy, this is simply amazing. This is probably the best part of the game, because the weapons are pretty varied, they're pretty amazing, and each one of them has a very distinct character that you actually will enjoy playing with. And as you level up, you can level up even your weapons as well, separately from you. If you, for example, like the weapons from the very early stages and you want to level up with yourself, you can actually do that and carry even the most basic weapons all the way to the end game. And with the mod systems, you can actually equip different perks as well well, which makes the game even more fun, even more interesting. And each and every weapon will play extremely differently, and in tandem with your character and with its skills, it will be even more amazing, which makes game insanely fun. As for the game itself and the progression through the game, you have your basic leveling system, and you have an ability to equip different perks and different abilities. And you can play entire game either solo, or you can play the game with a squad of up to 3 people. And even though you can actually complete the game completely alone, I highly suggest you to play with other people, because yeah, the game with friends is actually much more amazing. But here where the problems start, outside of the story, of course, and one of the biggest problems is, of course, the loading screens. My god, the loading screens in this game is insane. In this game, loading screens have their own loading screens. It's insane how bad it is. And good luck if you're playing on anything other than SSD or even NVMe SSD, because if you're playing this on a hard disk drive or HDD, good luck waiting through dozens and dozens of loading screens even before you're gonna get into any action. It is insane. The fades to blacks is and the loading screens are just taking literally half amount of the game time. It's insane, and it's very bad. How this game is out, how this game exists in this way in 2022 is beyond my understanding. And other thing is actually matchmaking. And granted, this might be an issue with me and with my region only. So take whatever I will say right now with a huge grain of salt, like a giant rock of salt, not just grain. But matchmaking was awful for me. Most of the matchmaking, most of the random teams that I was getting into were either way too weak or way too strong, or I was being kicked out constantly, or the latency was insanely bad. I have a good internet, and usually I play on European regions easily with very low pings, but for some reason it was very bad for me. The wait times to join the squads was insanely long, and I have no idea why. During my entire playthrough, I probably played only like 10 times online, because the wait times were so long that it didn't even really matter for me to wait. And after I completed the story, I didn't even try. Maybe I didn't even try to join other teams. Maybe with the expeditions it was easier, but I was just way too frustrated to wait even more. I just wanted to complete the game and just play some more. So yeah, again, this might be the issue with me, but yeah, it was an issue. And another thing with other players, all the times that I played with, was the scaling. You see, in a game you have so-called world tiers. This is basically a difficulty levels of the game. The higher difficulty levels are, the more better loot you are getting, even on the earlier stages of the game. And this world tiers basically means is how high or low leveled you are compared to, well, everything else. And in earlier tiers, your enemies are actually far lower level than you are, making them very easy. And on higher tiers, they're far higher level than you are, but the quality of the loot that you're getting there is insanely high as well. And when you're getting online with other players, you will either get to the way too low level compared to your world tier, or way too high level compared to your world tier. And it was very inconsistent, and I don't know, I just didn't enjoy that. Again, this might be a problem with me, but yeah, it was a problem. But what about the pricing? Now let's discuss the pricing and, well, compare this price to the game that you get ratio. So game is available on Steam for the base price of $39.99 for both tier 1 and tier 2 countries, and it can go as low as $19.79 for tier 1 countries and $13.19 for tier 2 countries. Game is also available on a Game Pass both on Xbox and on PC, so we can play it completely free there as well. Not sure about the PlayStation because I didn't check it there. So is it worth it? If you have a Game Pass, 100%. Go and get it, go and download it, start playing it. If you have a Game Pass, and if you want to play another looter shooter, just go and get it. You're gonna enjoy it. If it's going to be your first looter shooter ever, well, you might not have a lot of fun there, but yeah, you can. But especially if you have friends, yeah, you can go and try it, and most likely you are not gonna regret it. But what about actually buying the game? Well, if you find this game, if for any price below $20, this game is 100% worth it. You are gonna get a lot of fun, and if you want like hour to price ratio, then if you want like 20 hours from the $20, yeah, most likely you're gonna get $20 from this one. To complete the entire game, it will take around 60-70 hours of the gameplay, depending on how fast you're going. If you're playing on a story difficulty, you can complete the game, complete the story like in 10-15 hours. But if you just take your time and playing on higher world tiers to enjoy the loot, it will take around 60 hours. But big downside of all this is that, or kind of downside if you want to call it like that, is that game is not actually live service. It's a complete game, and you are gonna get exactly what you're paying for. It's not there's not gonna be any seasons, no battle passes, no skins to play towards. There are some things, there are some cosmetics that you can actually unlock in game, but that's basically the already everything there is, and you are not gonna get anything new unless you're gonna get an expansions, like for example a Warfare. And if you want an infinite gameplay that will continue on and on and on and on, well, you're not gonna get this. When you complete everything, well, you complete everything. So depending on you, this might be a good side or a bad side. But because it's an always online game, I guess it is a bad side. I probably should have mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but this review does not contain anything from a World Slayer update and expansion. So this is only talking about the base game. So yeah, my overall verdict is this: Outriders is actually a pretty good game. It has quite a lot of flaws, huge flaws, but it's still pretty good nonetheless, and you're gonna find a lot of fun if you are willing to give it a chance. But yeah, it's not a great game, and with the very basic problems that it has, like with the story that will not be fixed. Yeah, it's gonna stay it's gonna stay like that. It's gonna stay good like that, and most likely will never get the rate. But yep, maybe I'm wrong. We will see what will happen in the future with this game. Well, this will be it for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like if you like it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.